Josh, how are you?
I'm great, Brian. How are you doing?
Good. I wanted to start off and ask you. Will Ferrell, obviously his career began on the Groundlings. Jamie Foxx was on in Living Color. Randall Park did a lot of improv as well. I would imagine, and obviously Isla Fisher as well did kind of improv ad lib comedy.
Yeah.
Working with dogs, though, obviously that's very, very scripted because you've got like wranglers and stuff. So I guess I'm wondering. Did you film the stuff with the dogs before and then bring in the cast and got them to kind of click off each other, or how did it work? Like,
Yeah, it's a great question. You've got it pretty spot on. I filmed with the dogs first. We had a script. I rolled as much as I could, knowing that I going to have these incredible actors who will improvise. But it also would sometimes go the opposite direction, where I would take footage of something that happened on set that we weren't planning for, and then put it in front of the actors and let them riff off of it. There's a moment in the film where little Jamie Foxx's dog named Bug is walking through the woods. He's a tough character, and all of a sudden a leaf randomly fell out of the tree and just completely scared the dog, who jumped. And I showed that to Jamie Foxx and with Dan, our writer, and we kind of tweaked the writing. So now all of a sudden he's talking about, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything. And then he jumps and says, F you, Leaf, and moments like that were great. And to answer your other question, yeah, I was able to get all of them in a room together, which is not the norm. I come from a live action background, and it was surprising to me the idea that we wouldn't have these actors all in a room together, because they traditionally just go in by themselves, deliver their lines, and then we cut it together. So I got Jamie and Will came in for almost all their sessions together, and then I had sessions with all four of them, as you mentioned, Randall Park and Isla Fisher, and all of a sudden the script and the performance just came to life. It's just so fun to watch these comedy greats kind of bat the ball back and forth to each other.
I know, like I saw. By the way, I loved Behind the Mask, and
Oh, thank you.
I loved
That's a deep
the one.
cut.
Yeah, and I loved the one about the Dana Carvey show as well, because I was a big comedy nerd. But I'm wondering, obviously you did Barb and Vista go to or Barb and
Yeah,
Star go to, yeah,
it's a
you know
tricky
the one.
name.
Tricky name. Sorry. I'm wondering. This being your second film, I guess, has any part of your directing, has any part of your kind of process changed from going from documentaries to a feature to, I guess, like kind of like an animated film, but not an
Yeah.
animated film?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the process is obviously very different between all of them, right? But what I'm striving to do is always the same. It's like tell a funny story. I tend to like to do funny comedic things in an emotionally captivating way with characters that you're invested in. And I think across the spectrum, if you're working in documentary, if you're working in narrative, traditional live action, you're working in now like a animated style, even though it's live action with dogs, but it's more of an animated process. It's the same thing, and I'm always sort of asking, what's real, what's funny, why do I care, what am I waiting to find out in this story? All the same kind of narrative questions. And so I find that they inform each other, and they also re-inspire me to kind of jump between the genres.
What was the input, or I guess influence, of Lord and Miller? Because obviously, they're coming from an animation background, but they've also done live action as well. And so they're kind of the two worlds. What was their influence on you? What was their input?
Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, I felt very lucky to have them as producers, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who have, as you mentioned, done it all in live action, and certainly a lot of experience in the animated space. And I mean, they bring so much to the table. I think specifically to this project, one thing I loved about them is when we would get together, like me, we talk a lot about story and emotion and character. In a film that is really loud and outrageous and funny, you would think we spend all of our energy on comedy and jokes, and it's actually not really where we spend our focus. That's the fun, just writing bits and jokes. The work usually comes in, what's the story? How do we tell it in a captivating way? And I think the other thing they brought that was new to me and was really helpful was just this idea that you can keep writing. So obviously in a traditional live action film, once you're done shooting, that's kind of the material you have to work with. And in this case, we could just keep bringing in Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, my cast, try a new joke out, try a new idea out. We'd have to go hunt for the dog footage to make it work and recut it and things like that. And then we could put it in front of an audience and see what joke's working, what's not. And so that was really fun. And those guys are incredible at that. And they know to just keep working and keep writing until they pull the pencil out of your hand. And so they were incredible.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
Final question. Can you see a sequel with cats? Because it kind of felt like there was a few like little moments there where the cats kind of wanted to say something and they were kind of cut off, I guess.
It's a great question. I would say prior to making this film, I absolutely could have seen a sequel with cats. The problem is I think the most difficult day of the entire shoot was just this one moment where all I needed was 2 cats to sit, as you may recall, on I think they were on cardboard boxes or a trash can. That's all they had to do, was just sit there for 10 seconds, and that took almost an entire day. And so I learned very quickly, dogs love treats, but they also love to make you happy. They love to make their owners, their trainers kind of happy, and so they want to learn things and perform. Cats just don't care, and I love that about cats. But they're very, very hard animals to train. So I don't know that I would run at a Cats movie, but we'll see. You never know. Anything's possible.
Okay, good stuff. I'm getting the wrap there, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks, man.
All right. Great to chat with you.
I'm starving.
How many of these should we eat? All of them?
Give me a sec.
Whoa!
You look different.
You look different too.
How so? Is it my human hands?
Hold up. Sit! The cops!
Oh God, what do we do?
Calm down. I got this. Hello, officer. None of us.
Shut the f up.